Lindsay Parrish, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about what stunt driving has taught me about life. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't necessarily give off the stunt driver vibe. Well, I didn't think so either, yet I was able to make a living doing it for several years when I lived out in California. Now, acting was my real dream, but stunt and precision driving paid my bills. So, how did I get started? Well, if you don't know a lot about the film and television industry, there is a list of jobs that comes out daily called the breakdowns. So one day I was perusing them and just came across an ad for a Mazda commercial. They were looking for a stunt driver, female, brunette, average build and size. I mean, I fit the description to a T. Oh, except for the whole professional driver thing. But I did work as a valet driver for a few years back in college, so technically, yes, someone had paid me in the past to drive a car. Loose translation, professional driver. My first instinct was to just keep scrolling on to the next one because I had never in my life thought that I could be a stunt driver. But then a little voice in my head said, "But you could." My rent was due, this job paid cash, and it would get me out of this financial hole that I was facing. Well, what's the worst that could happen? I submit myself and they don't call me, then I'm in exactly the same place that I was anyways. So I pressed the submit button. And that afternoon, I received a call. The gal on the other end of the line asked me if I had driving experience. Technically, I have been driving since I was 15, and as I mentioned before, I worked as a valet driver for a couple years, so my answer was yes. Then she asked me if I was comfortable working with a Russian arm. Since I had no clue what that was, it didn't really scare me, so I said, sure. Then she went into details about where and when they were shooting and said based on how closely I resembled the actress, she was just gonna hire me over the phone. Fantastic! I wrote down the details, hung up the phone, and immediately Googled, what is a Russian arm? So now I know that it is the camera car with the huge crane on top that gets all of the moving shots in a commercial. It's usually made from an SUV like a Porsche or something similar that can keep up with a car that they're filming while having this crazy heavy and expensive equipment on top. So I show up on the set the next day, completely scared out of my mind. But in the entertainment industry and a lot of other industries, it's really about 97% confidence and only about 3% skill, seriously. So I put myself up and I told myself that I am a stunt driver. I've got this, no big deal. And I am so glad that no one tried to shake my hand that day because they were sweating beyond belief. So I met with the AD, the assistant director, and he showed me to the hair and makeup trailer, followed by wardrobe, and then introduced me to the actress that I was stunt driving for. That's me on the left right there. Before I knew it, they were ready for me on set. So I walked over to the hero car, or the car that's being filmed, got in, fastened my seatbelt. My heart was racing. My knuckles were white from this death grip that I had on the steering wheel. The Russian arm was in front of me and the crew gave me a walkie-talkie so I was able to hear their direction. So they said, okay, follow us to the start mark. Roger that was what I said, because isn't that what you say on a walkie-talkie? I seriously had no idea. So I start following them and about 5 seconds later, my car almost rear ends them. I slam on my brakes and I look around and I just hope that nobody saw that. And it was then that I realized that the Porsche had their brake lights disassembled so that it doesn't reflect off the hero car in the shots. Sweat poured from my forehead. Okay, lesson 1, don't rely on brake lights. Check. The first shot consisted of about $1 million worth of equipment, focused on the front emblem of the Mazda that I was driving. So the camera car was in front of me, and the camera itself was below my hood. So it was below my line of sight. And I was supposed to go at exactly the same speed as the Russian arm car, keeping within about an inch of this expensive equipment while not being able to see it, nor being able to see any brake lights if they slowed down. Okay, yeah, no big deal. Just concentrate, smooth, you've got this. After only a few close calls, I finally started to feel more comfortable and feel like I was starting to get the hang of it. Then I heard over the walkie-talkie, "Lindsay, go ahead and let her rip. We'll keep up." I basically had permission to drive as fast as I could through the closed streets of Griffith Park. So I did. Oh, I did. Racing around corners, giving it more gas, watching the hired cops keep traffic contained as I just flew past. Oh my gosh, it was so glorious. And afterwards, I pulled back up to base camp area and got out of the car. The driver of the Russian arm, who had been in the business for 20 plus years, walked over to me and said, "I've got a quick question for you. How long have you been driving?" I looked at him and said, I don't know, a while now." He stared at me and I thought my cover was blown. Then he nodded and said, "I can tell. You're one of the best drivers I've worked with. Keep up the good work." And he walked away. I couldn't believe it. I just pulled off one of the greatest adventures in my life up to that point. And the really wonderful thing was that after that, the stunt and precision jobs just started snowballing in my direction from set referrals. And I was able to use that as my supplemental income instead of the typical waiting tables or bartending. And that taught me a powerful lesson on saying yes, even if I'm not sure how I'm going to pull it off. As Richard Branson says, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. Take that amazing opportunity and run with it. Say yes, and trust in yourself that you are incredible and creative and will absolutely figure it out. Now, I'd love to hear from you. When did a crazy opportunity come your way that you said yes to? Or what kept you from saying yes? I would love to hear about your experience, so comment in the section below or send a message to me through my website at finallyfindingme.com. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And also be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be the first to know when new content is released. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep being amazing.